Hello everyone. Welcome to the solution of LeetCode problem 661 named Image Smoother. Here, the problem statement is little bit of complex. Anyways, I am explaining it to you in a very simpler way. Basically, we are given a two-dimensional grid and each of the element in the grid is an integer number. Now, we have to modify each of the number. So how can we modify? Simply, we have to take the summation of adjacent element of this number. Suppose the number is 1. So we will take the summation of adjacent element, which is 2 plus 7 plus 6, and the number itself, which is plus 1. And we will replace 1 by the average of this summation. So 1 will be replaced by 1 plus 2 plus 7 plus 6 divided by 4. Similarly, for this element 7, it has 8 adjacent number, which is 1, 2, 3, 8, 13, 12, 6, and 11. And the value 7 is itself is included into the summation. So we have to add all of the numbers into this blue box and divide it by 9 and replace 7 with this value. Basically, this is the problem statement, and by applying this similar algorithm, we have to modify each of the element presented in the input grid. I hope you understood the problem statement. Now let's move on to the algorithm. In this problem, the algorithm is pretty simple. At first, let's take this example. Here, suppose our value is 7, which is this. Now we have to modify 7. So we have to consider what is the adjacent number of 7. So the adjacent number are this, which is 1, 2, 3, 7, 8, 11, 12, and 13. And we have to consider the value 7 itself into the summation. So we will sum up all of the element into this blue shade and divide it by sum with 9. And we will suppose it is, let's say it is x. So we will replace 7 with x. Now, this is the basic algorithm. Now it can be possible that our current value, suppose it is 5, it does not have 8 adjacent element. So here, suppose this 5 does not have any of this adjacent element into the right side of it. So here, we will simply take the related adjacent element, which is 4, 9, and 10, and we will sum all of them with the 5 and divided them by 4. So here, we will use two loops. One is outer loop, another is nested loop. Now, for each of the cell, we will determine how many corresponding cell we will consider to replace the cell value. And similarly, we have to sum up all of the element into the corresponding cell. Now, how to sum up the element? So here, suppose let's take this 7. So basically, for this 7, we know it's row and column. So we will run another loop into its previous row and into its current row and into its next row. Similarly, we will consider value into its previous column, into its current column, and into its next column. And we will add all of them and divided them by the number of cells presented. And this is how the algorithm works. I hope you understood the algorithm. Now let's move on to the code. In this problem, the code is pretty simple. At first, we are given a function named ImageSmoother, which has a two-dimensional vector as a parameter. Now we are taking the number of row and column of this vector, and we are taking another vector answer, which is the size of n by m. Now we are running a loop for each row and each column. And for each row and each column, the total is 0 and the count is 0. Here, total is the summation amount and count is the number of cells presented. Now we are running another 2 loops in a nested fashion. One starts from the row -1 to row +1, and the column starts from the column -1 to column +1. And here, if the row is equal to n, or the column is equal to n, or row or column is less than 0, we can say that this cell is out of bound. So we will simply ignore it. Otherwise, we will add the value of this cell to the total and increase the count. Finally, we have to replace the answer of ij with total divided by count, which is the average. Finally, we have to return the answer array. I hope you understood the code. Thank you everyone for watching the video. We will get back soon with another LeetCode solution.